Good afternoon. Online people, audible? Yes, great. So, this is a session related to the introduction to ethics. Okay. Have you gone through the syllabus of this particular paper? No. Anyone? Did not understand much. Yeah. So, this is a special paper that was introduced only, some 10 years ago. Unlike all the other subjects that you have, they were introduced long back, right? Since inception, most of the subjects were there. But this is a subject that was introduced only in 2013-14. So GS-4, which is ethics, integrity, and aptitude. The name itself is special. Why is it special? It's because you don't find this particular subject anywhere in the world. Nowhere in the world. So such a discipline or such a subject is not there. What do we have? We have a subject by name, ethics. So where do you find this ethics subject? Where? Is it a part of some other, broad subject? You have any idea? Moral science? No. It's a part of philosophy. What is philosophy? So we use it negatively. In the present times, if somebody speaks too much about life, if somebody speaks too much about anything else in a subjective manner, people are, this is too much philosophy, stop it. So we use it in a negative sense. But philosophy, this part is about love. Sophia means knowledge. Love for knowledge. That is what philosophy is. So, philo, Sophia. Sophia is knowledge. It's a fascinating thing that for the first time, humans thought about knowledge because of this subject. The idea behind this subject is searching knowledge. What is knowledge? What constitutes knowledge? What qualifies as knowledge? On what basis should we decide this is the truth? This is the reality? This is not the reality? So such very basic questions. By this measure, we can say philosophy is the mother of all knowledge that we have. All the problems, some of you might see it as a problem. What problem? Sir, math problem, chemistry problem, right? Or some subject, history problematic, sir. Everything that you are studying today has roots where? Philosophy. Every single subject that has come out is because of our search for knowledge. Where did our search for knowledge start? Because of a particular subject called philosophy. If philosophy was not there, there was nothing. Right? There is no agriculture, there is no chemistry, there is no physics, nothing. So all knowledge comes from philosophy, mother of all knowledge. Broadly speaking, in philosophy, you have 6 branches. One of the branches of philosophy is ethics. 6 branches. So which are the 6 branches? One is called epistemology. Okay. So one is called epistemology. So what is this epistemology? So it's just that the nature of knowledge, where is knowledge coming from, how should we get knowledge, what is true knowledge, such questions it answers. What is the meaning of knowledge? Such questions, very fundamental questions related to knowledge. There is another branch. So it also speaks about what is the limitation of knowledge, range of knowledge, how to get true knowledge, what is true knowledge, all these things related to knowledge only. So we are not concerned about this part. The next part is called as metaphysics. This is another part of philosophy. What is metaphysics? Metaphysics, which is beyond physics, beyond the physical world. What is there beyond the physical world? Spiritualism, God. Does God exist? In what form? Right? God is omnipresent. How? Is God omnipotent? How? Okay. Questions related to God and things beyond our reality. That is metaphysics. And next you have another branch. Logic. It is based on argumentation, our ability to draw inferences. So it's about argumentation, drawing inferences, conclusions. For example, syllogisms is something which is related to logic. Now, how? Argumentation, conclusions, inferences, what does this mean? Study of logic involves something like this. All cats are dogs. Okay. And no dog is a rat. Can I draw an inference on this statement, which is no cat is a rat? Can I draw an inference whether this statement is true or false? Can I infer or not? I can draw an inference. I can draw a conclusion on the basis of these two statements. So this is logic, on the basis of logic. It is not based on reality. It's based on logic, based on argumentation. Understood? This is another branch. The rules of logic. Clear? And next, there is something called as political philosophy. Political philosophy. This is another branch. This is a branch which speaks about what is a government, what is a state, nation, what are rights, why should people have rights, what is the meaning of justice, all these things, political philosophy. And then there is another branch which is known as aesthetics. What is aesthetics? Study of beauty. On what basis do we say something is beautiful? Rules on the basis of which we can decide what is beautiful, what is not beautiful. One of the rules is that anything that is symmetrical is mostly beautiful. Okay, so that is aesthetics. And the last branch is ethics, which is part of our syllabus. What is this about?
Human behavior.
This is a study of principles of right and wrong, good and bad. Principles on the basis of which we decide something is right, something is wrong. Principles on the basis of which we decide something is good, something is bad. That is what ethics is all about. And this is not the actual definition. We'll come to the actual definition. This is just an introductory. Clear? However, while this is a part of philosophy, the thing is, if we try to study ethics from a philosophical perspective, it's going to be problematic for us. Why is it going to be problematic? Because when you look at the UPSC syllabus, you have the mains examination. In the mains examination, broadly, you have two parts only. One is GS, the other one is optional. Mains. CSAT is in your prelims. So in mains, you have broadly only two parts. One is GS, another one is optional. In GS, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything else? Essay. Essay is also a part of GS. Optional is the one which is separate. Because it is general studies, 4 is under general studies, which is your ethics, integrity, aptitude. We have to deal with it from a general perspective only. Philosophy, there is an optional. Inside philosophy, we are going to study ethics from philosophical perspective. Are we supposed to study ethics in GS-4 from philosophical perspective? Absolutely no. We are not supposed to do that mistake. That is why you choosing a philosophy book, taking up a philosophy book and studying ethics from that is absolutely senseless. It becomes useless. So we have to take a different approach altogether for this particular subject. Now we have to deal with it like a normal person. How a normal person understands what is right and wrong, on what basis he decides what is right and wrong. That's all we need to do. Not from philosophical perspective. Until and unless the syllabus asks us to do so. The syllabus does ask us to do so at certain points only. Clear? So, this paper, Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude, was introduced only in 2013-14. Why it was introduced? It was, the question is why? Why was it introduced? Multiple reasons we can give for this. Why this paper was introduced? Because, earlier we had all the history, geography, polity, economy, environment, all these were there. But why introduce this subject? What was the necessity? One thing was that as the number of corruption cases increase, corruption happens in the government at different levels, and you have to clean the system. And when you look at, probably 2010, 2009, 2011, you see a lot of corruption cases as well at the highest levels of the government. And every time you look at a scam that happens or corruption cases that happen, mostly officers are involved. Either officers are involved or they have sat quiet despite wrong things happening. So in order to change it, we need to have officers with a proper compass. Proper compass as in what is right, what is wrong. They should have clarity. Many times it so happens that you don't know what is right and wrong. That is why you are silent. Getting it? So anybody who becomes an officer should have that moral compass. Have an understanding, have a knowledge of what is right and what is wrong. So in order to ensure that the officers who take the positions, IAS, IPS, whatever, they have the knowledge of what is right and wrong. to address the issue of corruption at its root. This is an effort. This paper was introduced. You can look at it this way. A person commits a mistake under two conditions. Mistakes are committed by people under two conditions. When do we commit mistakes? Two conditions ये है. One condition, knowingly I commit a mistake. Unknowingly, without knowledge. With knowledge, without knowledge. Now, sir, why do I commit a mistake knowingly? Why do you commit a mistake knowingly?
I don't know something.
No, you know it. You know this is wrong. Now, self-interest is one thing. Everybody, see, you tell me, every person who is engaging in corruption, does the person not know corruption is wrong? Knows. Still, why does the person engage? Self-interest. Is there any other reason? Is wearing helmet compulsory? Yes. Still we don't wear. Why? To check. To check whether will I be caught or not. Let me see. To hairstyle. Comfort. Despite knowing we commit mistakes, maybe because of thrill ke liye. For thrill. Right? Unknowingly, why do you do it? You know, it is unknowingly. We don't know. It is right or wrong. We did it. No knowledge here. What is the solution for these people? What is the solution we have? In a system, in a society we live in, we have a system to deal with such people. What is the system we have? We have laws. We have laws. To deal with these people, we have education. Very simple. We have education to deal with those people. We have laws to deal with these people. Now, after spending so much money, the government will have spent a lot of money, a fortune, on a person to become a IAS officer, IPS officer, any officer. The government has to spend a lot of money. You might be thinking, sir, we have given 200 rupees for application, right? So 100 rupees for application we have given. So many people have given the money. They will use that only, no, for training. No, that is, like peanuts for your training. Okay. It would have spent a fortune for you to become an officer, for your training and everything. After that, if the government realizes, government comes to know that the kind of person I have selected is what? A very corrupt person. One thing though, emotionally or feelings based, government also feels like, what kind of person did I select? This is what. So on the other hand, it is also the loss to the exchequer. And such people will not be serving any purpose for the government as well. So the government thought that, rather than government, UPSC, because of the inputs it was getting, it thought that we'll do one thing. Let's suppose you become an officer. There is a situation where you are supposed to make a decision. You don't know what is right and wrong, right? Because it is a new situation. You open the rule book. According to the rule book is silent. In this situation, what to do? It is a AI related issue. The rule book does not speak anything about AI. Okay, you are supposed to make a decision. What will you do? Like, what to do? I don't know. Now you think, which one will serve my purpose? Which action? Action A. So you have three choices, A, B, C. If I do C, it serves my purpose. But rule book is not saying anything. Rule book is not saying do A, do B, do C. It is not saying anything. But if I do C, it will serve my purpose. Now what will you do? You are going to choose C. And then when the government asks you, hey, what you did is wrong because there were negative consequences because of your decision. You are like, sir, rule book was not saying anything. That is why I did it. Understood? So you can always say that because rule book is not saying anything, I did it, and you can escape. On the other hand, when you are educated with a framework for what is right and wrong, you are taught principles of what is right and wrong. You can't just say, sir, I did not know what is right and wrong in that situation. Clear? Basically, what ethics paper does is, even for unknown situations, new situations, you will have a framework to decide what is right and what is wrong. Very new situation. In this situation, what to do? I don't know what to do. Rule book silent. Now, your natural inclination is something which is going to be beneficial for you. That decision you are going to make. But because you have knowledge of ethics, you will not do it. Clear? So now, if you commit a mistake after clearing this exam, government is like, I will apply the law directly. Why I will apply the law directly? Because you already are educated in what is right and wrong. Where did you get that education? You cleared the exam. Now government will not think twice. Government is like, I'll apply. Clear? So it makes easier for the government to apply laws for wrongdoing. It has become easier now. Right? The government will not be confused now to apply or give punishment. There is clarity. And new problems, to deal with new problems, rule books are not sufficient. Rule books, not sufficient. They are not sufficient. For new problems, decision making becomes ambiguous. Situations will be ambiguous. Decision making is difficult. Rule books are mostly silent. Ethics helps you with a framework to decide what is right and what is wrong. Accordingly, make decisions. Because of these reasons, ethics, integrity, and aptitude paper was introduced. Recommendations were given by various task forces. Even from Labasna, there was a report given to UPSC that you are supposed to select the candidates, somehow screen out the candidates who are, not having certain values. How to do it? Let's check whether the person is scoring better in a particular paper which is related to value system. Ethics, integrity, and aptitude is a value system based paper. Okay, so this is what is being done. So this is a background as to why this subject was introduced. Clear? Now, the question is, sir, if I clear this exam, or if any person who clears this examination by scoring very good marks in ethics, integrity, and aptitude, good score, great performance, can you guarantee that the person will not become corrupt? Can you give a guarantee? What is this you have written in the paper? Theory. This is practice. Is there a guarantee of this? There's no guarantee as such. There's no guarantee. All we can expect is you will be a knowledgeable person when it comes to what is right and wrong. The advantage is that the government finds it easier to apply the laws. That's what we can say. The government will not be in a confused state to apply the laws. Clear? Next. Now we'll have a look at the syllabus as well. This paper, the syllabus. the GS-4 paper, you have a total of 7 chapters or 8 chapters, I would say. You have 8 chapters. And this is a standalone subject. And the standalone subject with 250 marks. 250 marks. 8 chapters. 7 chapters on one side, 1 chapter on the other. The 7 chapters are theoretical chapters. Theoretical chapters. This 1 chapter is an applied chapter. It is an application chapter. Okay. And this application chapter is what we call as the case studies. Case studies. So what are these 7 chapters? So case studies are what? They give you a situation. In that particular situation, what are you going to do? For example, one of the most famous case study which was given, which is very, very practical. See, they give case studies in which you are a police inspector. Different roles are given to you. You are a chief medical officer, right? You are a superintendent of police. You are an IAS or district magistrate. Okay. You are a principal of a school. So basically, you should be knowing the responsibilities of each of these roles. Then only you can answer. One thing is, what is right and wrong, we will learn. Right? At the same time, we should also be knowing what are the roles and responsibilities of different positions in the society. As a principal, what measures you can take. Right? As a doctor, what all things you can do. As a civilian, what you can do. Citizen, what you can do. So you should be knowing what is the range of operations I can engage in. Clear? So in one case study, you are just a student who is writing your final examination, last exam you are writing. That was a case study. Your friend is also writing the exam, sitting in the first bench. You are in the last seat. You are kind of completed, you have kind of completed the paper maybe. You are kind of free. You are just looking around. You saw your friend sitting in the first bench. Your friend comes from a very, weak economic background. This examination, if the person clears, if your friend clears, he is going to get a job for sure, and which is going to be very, very supportive of his family. Otherwise, it is going to be problematic for his family. Sustenance becomes problematic for his entire family. So this is a situation. You are sitting there and you see that your friend is cheating in the exam using, cheats, cheating in the exam basically. The question that was asked was very straightforward. What will you do in this situation? Why? What will you do in this situation and why? 15 marks. So what will you do in this situation?
In reality, we don't say, but in answer we have.
There were no options given also. Right? There were no options given. So we are going to list out the options as well first. Okay, what are the options we have in front of us? Report to the invigilator. Let it be. Any other option?
After the exam, we can confront him.
So after the examination, confront him. Any other answer?
The exam is self-passed.
How will you do that? Probably, throw a paper, right? Somehow alert the person not to do it. These are the 4 options we have. There are pros and cons to it. Each option, there are pros and cons. You're supposed to explain the pros and cons. And finally, narrow down to one option, which is best option, right? Which is the best option here? On paper, which is the best option? You tell me. Is it practical? Is it practical? You are sitting in the last bench. Your friend is in the first bench. Is it practical? Practically, it's not possible. तो practical कौन सा है? हाँ, you have to tell it to the invigilator. Now, the first thing that comes to your mind, if I tell it to the invigilator, I am doing a disservice to my friendship. It is a disservice to your friendship. He's a close friend. What you did is absolutely wrong according to the terms of friendship. Okay. Now, how will you justify your answer? It's all about justification. Why did you do it? On what basis you did it? How will you deal with your friend later on? These are the questions that you need to answer. So by the time you answer all these questions, your 15 marks is done. So giving justification holds the key. Everybody knows what is right and what is wrong. You should have solid reasons to do something or not to do something. Then you will have clarity to take a decision, actually. Understood? Now, if I ask you just like that, why is it you said reporting to the invigilator is right? What reason?
Injustice to me.
It is an injustice to you. Okay, one.
To follow the code of ethics of exam.
So how the exam should run, there are rules. This is going against the rules. Okay, two.
Sir, if we don't report to the invigilators, then indirectly we are promoting cheating.
Okay, you are promoting cheating, which is wrong according to you.
According
According to you. Huh. Anything else?
At least he'll study for the next attempt.
At least he will study for the next attempt. Okay. Now, the answers you have given. Okay, good. But these have to be justifications on sound ground. Sound grounding we have to provide. How about we tell like this? It breaches the right to equality. Yes or no? There is an article which is related to right to equality. Right? So everybody is equal in the examination hall. That equality principle is being breached. Justice is being breached. Yes or no? So why is justice being breached here? For what reason? The moment that this person is cheating, it becomes unjust on all the other people, not only you. Right? It is a imbalance that is created just because of his cheating. Clear? And furthermore, you can also say that it is in the interest of your friend itself you did it. Why? Now it is just the examination. What if your friend commits a bigger mistake once he gets into the job? Maybe he is going to end up behind the bars itself. To stop your friend from making bigger mistakes, you did it. It was not only in the interest of all the other people, it was also in the interest of your friend. You did it. Now coming to the question of how you are going to deal with your friend later on. So you are going to say that after the examination, you are going to speak to your friend about all this and make him understand. I am going to persuade my friend as to why you did it. Make him understand. And you should have that ability to persuade. So this much when we write, now it feels like, okay, what this person is saying can be done. See, the evaluator should feel like whatever you are writing is something which is possible. It should not be like something which is ideal. It should not be something which is impractical. Write your answer in such a manner which has a sound backing, sound justification, at the same time, which is practical as well. There was another case study. You are going in a car. One person came to you in a traffic, asked for money, begging. You took your purse. You are about to give the money. The person snatched your purse and ran away. In the traffic. Now, even before you could do anything, some people caught the person, started thrashing that person. Some people caught him, they started beating that person. What will you do in this situation? Getting my point? So it's not just about what you being a administrator. It's also about you being a normal person. What will you do? So that is what case studies is all about. Clear? And I can't expect everybody to write the same answer. Different people will have different answers. And it's just that you have to give good justification for anything you do, anything you write. Clear? Now coming to theory. The theory part is what helps us give justifications actually. This is the one which helps us come up with justifications, principles of right and wrong. So after understanding all this, we will be able to apply it in the case studies. Chapter 1 is ethics and human interface. Chapter 1 is ethics and human interface. Okay. This is the first chapter. In this chapter, we'll be learning about what is ethics, definition of ethics, what ethics is, and what ethics is not also. What isn't it? What it isn't. Sir, what does it mean? It means we generally have a notion that if you go against a law, it's not right. If you go against what the Constitution says, it is not right. Correct? If you do something against what your religion says, we say it is wrong. Right? By that measure, is religion equal to ethics? Is law equal to ethics? Or I have a gut feeling that this is wrong, this is right. On the basis of your feeling, can you decide something is right, something is wrong? So the questions that you are going to answer here is whether ethics is equal to law or not equal to law. So we come to a conclusion that law is not the same as ethics. Ethics is beyond law. It goes beyond law, beyond constitution. Is ethics equal to religion? Is religion bigger or ethics bigger? Ethics is beyond religion. Ethics, is it the same as morals? What is moral? Simple way of looking at it is stealing is right or wrong? According to a thief? According to a thief, it's right. According to you, it's wrong. Majority of the people say it is wrong. Thief says it is right. So, morals are personal understanding of right and wrong. Ethics is what? Universal understanding of right and wrong. Clear? Understood? So, are ethics same as morals? No. Ethics are beyond morals. Done? So, this we are going to learn. And then, can we apply ethics to everything or not? So, basically, we are talking about human actions or actions. In this, a very important discussion this is going to be about actions. You are walking in the street, you're just going on a bike or walking in the street. A dog barks at you. So, dog is barking at you, it is kind of irritating you. Action or not? Action. By whom? Dog. What the dog did is right or wrong? What the dog did is right or wrong?
No need to decide.
We can't decide. We can't apply our right and wrong principles to dog's actions. Likewise, you are you're feeling very low. You ask ChatGPT what to do. This is how I am feeling. Your ChatGPT is like, do one thing. You jump from first floor. You'll get some thrill. Like you jumped, broke the leg. Okay. Will you hold ChatGPT responsible? Action by ChatGPT. Can you hold ChatGPT responsible? No. Understood? So there are various actions which are not committed by humans, right? For all those actions, we can't apply ethics. There are limited set of actions to which we can apply ethics. So amongst human actions also, there are limited number of actions to which we can apply ethics, which is about a range of ethics. We say it is the range of ethics. Limited number of human actions. What is this limited number of human actions? There is a 5-year-old kid, right, or a 3-4-year-old kid, went on a vacation with parents. Dad and mom trying to click a selfie, standing at the edge of the cliff. The kid thinks that dad is Superman. Okay, hero. So the kid wanted to check whether my dad is really a superhero. At the edge of the cliff, trying to click a selfie, kid is like, just push the dad, thinking that dad will be able to fly and come back. Now for the kid's actions, kid killed the dad. Can you apply ethics to the kid's actions? Can you hold the kid responsible and say the kid was wrong? No. So there are very limited number of human actions to which we can apply ethics. Say for example, you are a normal person. You killed another person with a gun, but there was another person holding a gun to your head. That is why you killed the other person. Now can I charge you with murder? We can't. Understood? We can't say your action of killing another person was wrong. We can't apply ethics there. So there are very limited number of actions Basically, this is where we get what is known as the discussion of freedom of will. There's something called as freedom of will. This is about human actions, a discussion on human actions. Right. Next. There is one part which is related to dimensions of ethics, which is about branches of ethics actually. This is about the branches of ethics. Within ethics, there are 4 branches. So one branch is descriptive ethics, normative ethics, meta-ethics, and finally you have applied ethics. So what each of these branches is, and whatever we have in our syllabus, what is relevant for our syllabus is this normative ethics. Okay. And then we will be learning about determinants of ethics. Determinants of ethics. What determines ethics? So where do we get ethics from? Okay. So maybe it is culture we get it from, right? So rational thinking we get ethics from. So where do we get ethics from? Determinants. What are the determinants of ethics? Sometimes action itself is a determinant. Actor is a determinant. So all these things you will be learning. Then there is consequences of ethics. What are consequences or purpose, we can say? Purpose of ethics. It just means this. If ethics is there, what is the outcome? If ethics is not there, what will be the outcome? Understood? Because ethics is there, right? There are some outcomes. If there was no ethics, what would happen? Clear? Think about it. If there was no concept of right and wrong in this world, how would life be? How would life be? There is no concept of right and wrong at all. How would life be? Society would not exist. The very establishment of what we call today as society is because of the fundamental ideas of right and wrong. Without the fundamental idea of right and wrong, there would be no societies. Think about it. Everything is based on value system, right? Just take a simple example of trust. Trust as a value. This is a very fundamental thing on the basis of which your entire society is built. Trust. A basic transaction. Let's assume you have 10 rupees. You take this 10 rupees, go to a shop, give 10 rupees to the shopkeeper, and you wanted to take Maggie. You gave 10 rupees, give me Maggie. He took the 10 rupees and put it in his pocket, and he's like, go. You're like, Maggie, when did you give me 10 rupees? Trust. Even for basic transactions, we need trust. If such a thing was not there, societies would not be built. So whatever right and wrong we are deciding today is all on the basis of what? Basic values, certain basic values. One such basic value is trust. Clear? So these are what? Consequences of ethics. So when we say consequences of ethics, it is also about the purpose of ethics itself. So broadly speaking, the purpose of ethics is what? Maintenance of society. Without ethics, society cannot be maintained. The very existence of society is because of ethics. Clear? And then ethics in public and private relations. Ethics in public and private relations. What is right and wrong in public relations? What is right and wrong in private relations? So what we observe, to put it in a very simple way, an example would be like this. In private relations, privacy becomes the key. Yes. What is right and wrong is mostly based on emotions actually here. Emotion based. Private relation means, husband, wife, mother, son, father, daughter. In these relationships, what is right and wrong is going to be dependent on emotions actually. What about public relations? What is right and wrong is going to be dependent on what? Laws, code of conduct, code of ethics, these things. Understood? Think about it. There's a dacoit. Okay. You know that person is a dacoit. That person is a neighbor. He has a wife. Police come to catch the dacoit. As you and the wife of the dacoit, both people, they ask, where is this person? Yesterday, we heard that that person, was in these premises itself. Did you see? Actually, the person was there. Who is more likely to give away the dacoit? The neighbor. What about the wife? Wife is like, sir, no, sir, I don't know. Why? According to her, ethics in private relations is what? It's all about what? Emotion based. If she gives up the husband, everybody in the society will say, what kind of wife she is? If you don't give up as a neighbor, everybody will say, what kind of a person you are? You are staying next to the dacoit's house and you don't know. You don't have responsibility in the society. Getting my point? So what is this about? Ethics in public and private relations. So what drives ethics in public and private relations are very, very different. Clear? And then we'll be learning about the value system. What is a value according to you? You tell me. What is a value? See, have you heard of this word? Value, you have heard of it many times. What is a value?
Certain weightage.
Huh?
Certain weightage.
Certain weightage. Like? That becomes a valuable then. Right? So value of anything is, if you give a monetary value to it, it becomes a valuable. So what is value?
For ourselves that
To value.
Somebody said something.
like favor.
Okay. Anything that is considered to be important by us is a value. Clear? Anything that we sense to be important to us in any manner, we say it is a value. Clear? So when we speak of values, there are two types of values. One set of values are called material values. The other set of values are immaterial values. They're not like material. Material values may you have, gold, money, property, all these things. These are all material. We are not talking about these values. We are talking about values which are immaterial in nature. Things, they're not things actually. These are what? Anything that we consider important in our life, like respect, honesty, integrity, responsibility, spirit of service, transparency, privacy, equality, justice, all these things. These are all what? Values. These things are important in our life. But are they material? No. Give me 1 kilo of respect. Not possible. Yes? Give me 10 kilos of equality. So these are not something which are material in nature. So anything that we consider important in our life is a value. And the values that we are talking about are immaterial values. So about these values we are going to learn. There is a classification of values. Classification of values. There are some values which are instrumental in nature. There are some values which are eternal in nature. Right? Eternal values, transient values, instrumental values. So there are different classifications. We can do various classifications of values. So you will be learning about the classification. For example, a same value can be instrumental as well as it can become a what? Eternal value as well. So instrumental as in you use a value to gain something else. You use value as an instrument. For example, sincerity is a value. Being sincere is a value. Correct? You being sincere for the sake of being sincere. In the sense, I like to be sincere, that is why I am sincere. I consider sincerity to be a good thing, that is why I am being sincere. Understood? This is one way. You being sincere in order to get promotion. Now that sincerity is what? You are using sincerity as an instrument. Getting my point? Yes? So a value can be an eternal value or it can be an instrumental value. There are different classifications. We will be learning about it. Okay. So you show respect to others. Why are you showing respect to others? Why? Either you feel like respect is very important, that is why you are respecting others, or you are respecting others because other person should not feel bad, that is why you are respecting. Now respect becomes what? Instrument. Clear? Wonderful thing about values is that, let's take for example respect itself. It's just an example. What is a way to show respect to your elders? One of the most famous ways, touching the feet. This is one of the predominant ways of showing respect. Now, respect is shown through touching the feet. I'll ask you some simple questions. Okay. Is it like written somewhere? nahi hai. It's not written anywhere. But many people are doing it, which means there has to be a starting point. What would have been the starting point? Like 100 people started at a time, or was it one person who started it? Individual innovation tha ye. It should have been an individual innovation. One person would have done it. And it would have been emulated by others, copied by others. So maybe one person, as a way of showing the respect to his father, mother, before going out to work, touched the feet. Neighbor saw it. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, this is my way of showing respect. This is nice. I will also do it. Right? Consensus got built in a society. Like, if you are doing this, it means showing respect. Consensus. Individual innovation became consensus. On the basis of consensus, now we gave a form, a practice, a form to respect. Touching the feet is giving a form to something which did not have form. Respect was what? Intangible, immaterial. You could not see it. Now there is a way to see it. What is the way to see it? Touching the feet. Something which was immaterial now kind of got a form. And when it is practiced within the society, and everybody says that, hey, respect means you have to touch the feet. When it takes this, when it comes to this level, that is when we call it as a norm. Unwritten rule of the society. It becomes a norm. Clear? Now, once it has become a norm, once it has become a norm, if you don't follow the norm, right, we are not going to talk to you. You will be put aside in the society. Now it becomes a custom. It becomes a custom. Now, after it has become a custom, if you don't do this, I will punish you. The society will punish you. Then we call it as a more. Mores of the society. We call it as what? A more of the society. Now, once it has become a more, the government recognizes, the state recognizes it. ये तो बहुत important है. It is a way of life. We have to make it what? Make it a part of our system itself. We should give a legal recognition to it. That's when it becomes an institution. That's when it becomes an institution. Clear? Marriage is an institution. What is marriage is Saptapadi. Right? You know Saptapadi? Yes? So around the fire, 7 rounds. Saptapadi. So that is marriage. Is it in the law book? Yes, it's an institution now. You know, tying the Mangal Sutra, is it an institution? No. Exchange of garlands? No. Saptapadi is, according to Hindu Marriage Act, that is the institution. Clear? Understood? So it has gone through all these processes. Now, touching feet, has it become a part of institution? Not yet. Where is it? It is a norm. If it is practiced rigorously, it will become a custom. Further, if people start getting punishment for not touching the elder's feet, then it becomes a more. Now government deciding, okay, there should be rules for it. Touching feet, how? There are particular ways of touching feet. If it is written in a rule book, then it becomes an institution. Clear? Legally, there is no recognition, right? But in most of the Hindu marriages, it is done. It is done. Now, according to the government, you need to have a marriage certificate. So when you get the marriage certificate, before that, the government assumes that the person will have done it. That's the assumption. Okay. Clear. So in the same chapter, while it is all discussed, there is a last part of the chapter which is related to what are the values that we learn from the lives of great reformers, leaders. So lessons from the lives of great leaders, reformers, administrators. What values do we learn from them? Okay. And the last part of that value system is the values that we inculcate. Values inculcated. What values do we learn from family, educational institutions, and society as a whole? What are the values that we learn? Inculcation of values from these three sources. Done. That ends your chapter 1. Interesting? Chapter number 2 is attitudes. Attitudes. What are attitudes? Again, even this term is used negatively. How negatively? Don't show that attitude. Attitude is used as a negative word itself for the most part. But attitude is a very, very important aspect of our personality, of our life. So what is attitude according to you? Representation of ourselves. Behavior. Okay. So personality. So now one person said behavior, the other person said entire personality. What did you say?
Representing ourselves.
Representation of ourselves. Again, that is personality. So remember this. I will draw something. You remember for ever. It's going to be useful. This is you. True you. Who you actually are. I, or the ego, or the self. This is a true you. Sir, what does it mean, true me? True you means the real and the actual strengths you have, the actual weaknesses you have, the emotional setup you have. That's the true you. Not what is seen by others. The true you. Do you know yourself completely? I doubt it. Spiritualism is about finding yourself, the true you. That's spiritualism. Now, when you are born with a small part of who you are. Now, when you are born, you either start your life by either crying all the time, or being silent most of the time, or crying for some time, and after some time you are normal. We call these babies as easy babies, difficult babies, or slow to warm up babies. So it is something which you are born with. Sir, why are we born differently? It's because of contribution of genes sometimes, right? That part of who you really are, you are born with. This part is not there still. This is known as your temperament. Clear? As you come into this world, you start interacting with various people. Okay? You get the experience of the world. Even as you get the experience of the world, we learn some values. We learn some attitudes. We learn some beliefs. We adopt some beliefs. We also form some opinions. Where did we get all of these from? From the society, from around us, from our family, educational institutions, from your friends, from the society as a whole. All these things keep interplaying with one another and keep on creating this part of your who you really are. Yes? So you have your own opinions or not? Do you have some beliefs or not? Do you have some attitudes? I'll come to attitudes, what they are now. You have some values or not? What you consider to be important in your life, right? And then you have who you really are. Yes, this is something which we don't know clearly. Yes, on the basis of all these things, we behave. Our behavior is guided by all these things. Correct? Understood? Our emotions are also based on all these things. Done. That's your personality. All of it put together along with your behavior is your personality. Now, there is one more word, character. What is a character? What is character? What is character? You get a certificate, right? There is something called as a character certificate. Who is giving it? Someone else is giving it. It's a certificate for your personality. So basically, how others view your personality is your character. Getting it? Clear? So that's your character. We know opinion, we know beliefs, attitudes, values. What are attitudes now? What are values? Values we know. Now we have to move outwards. Understood? So values, you have to understand, anything that is very close to I is something which is very important to us. Very close to I was what? Values. It's very important to us. And in the next circle, we had what? Attitudes. They are relatively not as powerful as values. Then what are these attitudes? Attitudes are learned inclinations to act. Remember, look at this. It's an inclination to act either favorably or unfavorably towards anything in life. Act how? Favorably or unfavorably. Now, coffee just before sleeping. Do you have favorable attitude or unfavorable attitude? Favorable or unfavorable? Do you want to drink coffee just before going to sleep? No. Which means you have a unfavorable inclination to act, which means you have a negative attitude towards coffee at night. Right? Have I written acting favorably, unfavorably? No. I have written an inclination to act. Something from within us pushes us either to act favorably or unfavorably. But there is no guarantee that you are going to act in the same manner. For example, why it is very important to clarify this. Do you like all your relatives? All your relatives? No. There's a relative whom you don't like. That relative is coming to your house. What is the inclination you have? Internally, what is the inclination you have? You want to say, don't come into my house, get lost. This is the inclination to act. Do you do it? That inclination you have to act is attitude. Did you do it? No. So that brings us to the next part, the attitude behavior link. Is it strong or is it weak? That is the part of your syllabus. Under what conditions does attitude become behavior? Under what conditions does it not become behavior? Clear? And then we have beliefs and then we have opinions. So simple way of understanding it is usually even as we get knowledge about something, we have an opinion. And when we get more knowledge about it, supporting knowledge, supporting information about the opinion we have, it becomes a belief. And when we have a belief, we have some emotion to it, positive or negative, it becomes an attitude. Clear? So it started with information. On the basis of that, we created an opinion. When we get more information, supportive information, what does it become? It becomes a belief. Added with what? Some emotion. Emotion positive or negative, then it becomes an attitude. Right? Once you have an attitude over a period of time, right? What does it become? We consider it to be very important in our life. Okay. And the last part of that value system is the values that we inculcate. Values inculcated. What values do we learn? From family, educational institutions, and society as a whole. What are the values that we learn? Inculcation of values from these three sources. Done. That ends your chapter 1. Interesting? Chapter number 2 is attitudes. attitudes. What are attitudes? Again, even this term is used negatively. How negatively? Huh? Don't show that attitude. Attitude is used as a negative word itself for the most part. But attitude is a very, very important aspect of our personality, of our life. So, what is attitude according to you?
Your representation.
Representation of?
Yourself.
Representation of ourselves. Behavior. Behavior. Okay. So, personality. So, now one person said behavior, the other person said entire personality. What did you say?
Representing ourselves.
Representation of ourselves. Again, that is personality. So, remember this. I will draw something. You remember for ever. It's going to be useful. This is you. True you. Who you actually are. I, or the ego, or the self. This is a true you. Sir, what does it mean, true me? True you means the real and the actual strengths you have, the actual weaknesses you have, the emotional setup you have. That's the true you. Not what is seen by others. The true you. Do you know yourself completely? I doubt it. Spiritualism is about finding yourself, the true you. That's spiritualism. Now, when you are born, you are born with a small part of who you are. Now, when you are born, you either start your life by either crying all the time, or being silent most of the time, or crying for some time, and after some time you are normal. We call these babies as easy babies, difficult babies, or slow to warm up babies. So it is something which you are born with. Sir, why are we born differently? It's because of contribution of genes sometimes, right? That part of who you really are, a small part of who you really are, you are born with. This part is not there still. This is known as your temperament. Clear? So you are born with this. As you come into this world, you start interacting with various people. Okay? You get the experience of the world. Even as you get the experience of the world, we learn some values. We learn some attitudes. We learn some beliefs. We adopt some beliefs. We also form some opinions. Where did we get all of these from? From the society, from around us, from our family, educational institutions, from your friends, from the society as a whole. All these things keep interplaying with one another and keep on creating this part of your who you really are. Yes? So you have your own opinions or not? Do you have some beliefs or not? Do you have some attitudes? I'll come to attitudes, what they are now. You have some values or not? What you consider to be important in your life, right? And then you have who you really are. Yes, this is something which we don't know clearly. Yes, on the basis of all these things, we behave. Our behavior is guided by all these things. Correct? Understood? Our emotions are also based on all these things. Done.